Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Gopi Jana Balaba Hiri Barodhaude Gopi Jana Balaba Hiri Barodhaude Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranyahuna Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tera Panachari Yamuna Tera Panachari Jaya Radha Madhova Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhova Kunda Bihari Gopi Jana Balaba Kiri Vadadhari Gopi Jana Balaba Kiri Vadadhari Yasodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajadana Ranjana Jamuna Tirabana Chare Yamuna Ravana Chalti Jai Hurat Homadava Kunya Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatakacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Chadananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Huidas Thakur Ki Jai, Param Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Rama Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna. Gopagopata Sayam Kun Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturanam Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bo. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I just noticed the garland does have marigolds on it, so maybe someone could take it away. Because I am allergic to marigolds. Okay, so we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 16th chapter, texts 42 to 43. We're going to do text 42 responsively. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhuta Matsrendriya Prana Mano Buddhi Asayatmane Tri Gunena Bhimanena Guda Aswatmanubhutaye Bhutamatrendriya Pranaha Mano Buddhyasayatmane Trigune Bhimanena Gudaswatmanubhutaye Uttamatrendriya Pranaha Mano Buddhyasyatmane Trigunena Bhimanena Gudaswatmanubhutaye Uttamatrendriya Pranaha Mano Buddhyasyatmane Trigunena Bhimanena Gudaswatmanubhutaye Else? All right, and I'll just read the second verse here. Namo Nantaya Sukshmaya Kutastaya Vipaschate Nana Vadanu Rodaya Vatsya Vatchaka Shaktihe. So you can repeat. Bhuta of the physical elements. Matra, the subtle basis of perception. Indriya, the senses. Prana, the vital air of life. Manaha, the mind. Buddhi, the intelligence. Achaya, and of material consciousness. Atmane, to the ultimate soul. Trigunena, by the three modes of material nature. Abhimanena, by false identification. Gudha, who causes to become covered over. Swa, one's own. Atma, of the self. Anubhutaye, perception. Namaha, obeisances. Anantaya, to the unlimited Lord. Sukshmaya, to the supremely subtle. Kutastaya, who is fixed in the center. Vipaschate, to the omniscient one. Nana, various. Vada, philosophies. Anurodhaya, who sanctions. Vacha, of expressed ideas. Vachaka, and expressing words. Shaktaya, who possesses the potencies. So translation, obeisances unto you, who are the ultimate soul of the physical elements, of the subtle basis of perception, of the senses, of the vital air of life, and of the mind, intelligence, and consciousness. By your arrangement, the infinitesimal spirit souls falsely identify with the three modes of material nature, and their perception of their own true self thus becomes clouded. We offer our obeisances unto you, the unlimited Supreme Lord, the supremely subtle one, the omniscient personality of Godhead, who are always fixed in unchanging transcendence, who sanction the opposing views of different philosophies, and who are the power upholding expressed ideas and the words that express them. Wow. So you can repeat, obeisances unto you, who are the ultimate soul of the physical elements, of the subtle basis of perception, of the senses, of the vital air of life, and of the mind, intelligence, and consciousness. By your arrangement, the infinitesimal spirit souls falsely identify with the three modes of material nature, and their perception of their own true self thus becomes clouded. We offer our obeisances unto you, the unlimited Supreme Lord, the supremely subtle one, the omniscient personality of Godhead, who are always fixed in unchanging transcendence, who sanction the opposing views of different philosophies, and who are the power upholding expressed ideas and the words that express them. So, actually, if anyone says that women are less intelligent, they're absolutely wrong. You know, you have these Nagapatis offering this extremely deep philosophical understanding of the absolute truth. I'm going to read some of the commentaries, but I just want to make this point. That all the Western theologians have not gotten a chance to grasp. You know, last night I was looking up, I guess I should say, so last night I was looking up the definition of God in different dictionaries. And it means a very simple, it's very, very simple, you know, the person who created or the force that created, and that's about it, you know. And of course, there's this conception of immanent and transcendence, which we'll talk about in a second. That means someone who's everywhere and also transcendental. So that's really true. But anyway, I'm not going to mention that right now. So I was just thinking that here are these ladies, basically they were married to a demon. And they understood philosophy better than every single Western philosopher, isn't it? It's actually quite amazing. They understood philosophy better than their husbands. So anyone who thinks that women are less intelligent is out to lunch, or out to prasadam, basically, to put it in a Krishna conscious way. So why, I'll touch upon this before I read the purport, because it just came to my mind. So why do people say this, or why is it sometimes said like that about the women's intelligence? Well, because the native intelligence of women is just as good, or sometimes even better than men, and actually the whole concept of memory and is actually a feminine concept according to Krishna and according to Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita. So the reason it's said is because sometimes emotions overcome one's philosophical understanding. That's all. And in general, of course, it's Kali Yuga. I can't say it's exactly the case all the time, but in general, that ladies have emotions. But here we see that Kaliya had much more emotions than his wives. Kaliya was upset because Krishna was coming into his lake. My lake, you know. And the ladies knew better. So really we should examine things according to the characteristics. I mean, just like we have this varnashram system. I didn't plan on talking about this, but it's coming out. Just like we have this varnashram system, which Krishna describes in the Gita. Chatur varna maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagasha. Krishna, and Prabhupada would quote this verse quite often, Krishna actually states that one is known to be of a particular varna according to his qualities in work, not according to the body. So in the same way, we should see a person not simply as the category of man or woman, although sometimes those general categories are there, obviously. You know, there's different types of bodies, and Prabhupada did point that out, that, you know, men couldn't have children. That in general, you know, men have bigger muscles than women, you know, basically. But that's not always the case. I mean, if you go into the supermarket, you'll see nowadays they have the women muscle magazines where women have six-pack abs or something. So, in other words, one should see, following the Krishna's verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarna Mayashashta, Guna Karma Vibhagasha, one should see things according to guna and karma, not simply according to designation. Whether you're dealing with men, women, or even children. I mean, one person made the argument why women could not become gurus. And he said, well, if you accept women as gurus, then you have to accept children also. Well, why not? If children know the four Kumaras, we certainly accept them as gurus, right? And gurus. Yeah, gurus. You know, there are gurus. And then also, Krishna preached the Vedic literature with a horse head. Isn't it? I agree with that. Matcha was kind of philosophical too.
We have Ayush here.
Ayush, well, you better be careful. Krishna cautions me about that. So anyways, so the point is that you see something according to characteristics. Yes, there may be general characteristics belong to certain types of bodies, obviously. But, you know, but if there are other characteristics, we accept that entity according to the characteristics they exhibit. Does that make sense? Yeah, there's generalizations, but ultimately, according to the characteristics, just like Prabhupada initiated people from the Western world who came from what would be considered lower class families, but after some time, they exhibited. Even Jayananda, for example, he was exhibiting wonderful characteristics from the beginning. He was always a gentleman. It was quite different than the rest of us who joined the Krishna conscious movement. I basically look like a fuzzball. Hair. I'm sure. Well, of course, a pervert probably came Krishna conscious in the beginning anyway. But most of us, but Jayananda, and so Prabhupada really, accepted Jayananda for his good characteristics from the beginning. Whereas other devotees, Prabhupada really had to, chastise or train up or do so many things with. So anyway, so this is the point I'm making. This is not the point of the verse, but I thought it should be discussed. That here are ladies who are actually expressing philosophical concepts that basically most of us can't even grasp at this point. The Nagapatnis. Okay. So we are going to read the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Actually, first I wanted to read from one of Queen Kunti's prayers that's quite similar, which has Prabhupada's commentary. This is actually a very famous prayer. Of course, all the prayers of Queen Kunti are famous. Maya Javani Kat Janam Agyadokshajam Aviham Lakshase Muda Drisha Nato Natjadaro Yata. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer. This is the same thing mentioned here, the sukshma. That means very subtle. This is text 19 in the 8th chapter of the first canto. Exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. I guess I could read some of Prabhupada's purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna affirms that a less intelligent person is mistaken to be an ordinary man like us, and thus they deride him. The same is confirmed herein by Queen Kunti. The less intelligent persons are those who rebel against the authority of the Lord. Such persons are known as asuras. The asuras cannot recognize the Lord's authority. When the Lord himself appears amongst us as Rama Nrsimha or in his original form as Krishna, he performs many wonderful acts which are humanly impossible. As we shall find in the 10th canto of this great literature, Lord Sri Krishna exhibited his humanly impossible activities even from the days of his lying on the lap of his mother. He killed the Putana witch, although she smeared her breast with poison just to kill the Lord. The Lord sucked her breast like a natural baby, and he sucked out her very life also. Similarly, he lifted the Govardhan hill just as a boy picks up a frog's umbrella and stood several days continuously just to give protection to the residents of Vrindavan. These are some of the superhuman activities of the Lord described in the authoritative Vedic literatures like the Puranas, Itihasas, histories, and Upanishads. He has delivered wonderful instructions in the shape of Bhagavad Gita. He has shown marvelous capacities as a hero, as a householder, as a teacher, as a renouncer. That's it. I don't want to. We can go on with the purport. It's actually a wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada. So the point Queen Kunti is making here is that people do not recognize Krishna. And in the verse, it actually states, the verse we're reading today, it says that Krishna actually sanctions and gives them opposing views and different philosophies. And the acharyas talk about this. So let's read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on this verse. But you are not just the cause, you are the very soul of the material elements, giving them life. But what is remarkable is that giving them life, you make those who are full of life to appear like matter. You cover the knowledge of the jivas by the 3 gunas. So this also refers to the 15:15 in the Gita, Matat Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. that Sarvasya Chahamriti Sanavishto Matakshmitir Gyanabaponam Cha. So that Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, and he is giving people intelligence, remembrance, and knowledge according to their desire. What is the conclusion in all this? We cannot find the end to you, Ananta, because you are difficult to understand. Shukshma. Shukshma, Prabhupada, it's translated here in the verse we read today, is very subtle. In other words, it's of a different quality. But the intelligent men say that the jiva is different from me and that I cover the jivas. Therefore, how can you say that I am non-different from them? You are kutasha. The dictionary defines kutasha, that's very interesting, as he who pervades all the three, he who pervades all three phases of time. Thus you remain in one form at any time, whereas the jiva takes various forms for short periods of time. In other words, Krishna's form is eternal. It never changes. Ajopi sanavyatma bhutanomi sharopi sham prakriti vishwamadishtaya sambhavami atmamaya. When Krishna comes down, he comes down in the same form. Although that form, he can manifest in different ways. It's not that he takes different bodies, but he manifests his self-same transcendental body in different ways. Another verse in the Brahmasamhita, Dvaita Chuta Nari Vanantaramu Ajam Purana Purusham Naviyovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabama Durlabamatma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That the Krishna has one form, but he manifests that Dvaita, one form, means no duality. Achyuta, he's infallible, but he has unlimited, Ananta Rupa, unlimited form. So this is another contradiction here, like we were talking about contradictions the other day. Krishna has one form, but he has unlimited forms simultaneously. In other words, with that one form, he could manifest like an actor, which is what Queen Kunti describes in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna is an actor, an expert actor. And now Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur is talking about the forms of the jivas. He says the jivas take various forms for short periods of time. That means changing bodies. These forms are not their swarupa. Swarupa means your actual form. Therefore, you cannot be the same as the jiva. In other words, because Krishna doesn't change his body, he's not the same as the jiva, who does change the body. You know everything, vipaschit, and the jivas know only a little. We pay respects to he who permits for different purposes all types of philosophies, and he's given different bogus philosophies now, such as the jiva is non-different from God. Of course, our philosophy is the jiva is non-different in quality from God, but different in quantity. Jiva is material and God is consciousness. And I remember in the 1960s, there was this philosophy, not so much God is conscious, but God is love. Remember that, Prabhuji? God is love. And people go to Prabhupada and say, God is love. It doesn't mean that's an impersonal understanding. God is the one who is loving. God loves. We love God. And other bogus philosophies mentioned by Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur that are given to the living entities because of their desire is God is one alone. He said, this is actually our philosophy. God is one alone. Ekala Ishvara Krishna, Arasabda Vricha. The jivas are many. All of these conflicting theories take shelter of Scripture. We pay respects to you by whose desire arises the power of many meanings and many words. In other words, Krishna gives bogus philosophies to people because of their desire. He gives bogus understandings, scientific understandings, because of people's desire to forget God. So Jiva Goswami also comments, just a very short commentary here. I offer respects to the biggest and smallest, to the fixed one, to the teacher of all arts, to the inspiration from many philosophies, to the giver of power to the words and meanings. I offer respects to the giver of awareness to the elements, sense objects, senses, life airs, mind, intelligence, chitta. This is the same as the verse. I offer respects to the giver of knowledge of Atma, to the jivas covered by the conceptions of the three gunas. You are the greatest in size and the smallest. And I want to make reference. There's an actual verse that Prabhupada really liked to quote from the Upanishads that says the same thing. It was one of Prabhupada's favorite verses, which I have not memorized, unfortunately. And you'll recognize them when you hear it. Anor aniyan mahato mahiyan, admasya jantor nihito vahayam, tam akratu pashyati vita shoko datu prasadan mahimanam atmana. So actually, the verse translation, I'm going to give it a little bit different translation, then I'll read the translation. Anor mahiyan mahata. The soul, Krishna is smaller than the smallest, and he's bigger than the biggest. Prabhupada quoted this in a different way than the translation that's given here, but it says, both the super soul and Paramatma and the atomic soul is situated in the same tree of the body, within the same heart of the living entity, and only one who has become free from all material desires, as well as lamentations. Pretty good. You have to become free from lamentation, too. That's a hard one. By the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul, and as will be disclosed in the well, Prabhupada's making reference to something else here. Anyway, so Krishna is the biggest of the big and smallest, smaller than the smallest. You are the greatest in size and smallest. You are unchanging, Guptasthaya, and are the teacher of various arts, Vispashate. You instigate many philosophies. From you arise the power and meaning words. So now I wanted to talk about the different topics. I noted down the different topics that were brought out about the nature of God here. So I'm going to try to go through a few of them. One is that he's omniscient. He knows everything. Another one is he's subtle. This is what's brought out in the verse we read today in the Bhagavatam. So I just listed the qualities that the verse referred to. That Krishna is omniscient. He knows everything. He's subtle. Subtle means basically like you have the gross material elements, the subtle material elements. Of course, gross or pancha mahabhuta, subtle is earth, is mind, intelligence, and false ego. And then even more subtle or more fine. I would prefer the word finer rather than subtle. Because subtle, sometimes we use the word subtle in English to refer to like a subtle hint. Like if I say to someone, you did such a good job. I may be actually saying subtly, you did a lousy job. like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used sarcasm like that when he was cleansing the Gundicha temple. So, anyway, so finer, something that's more finer rather than subtle. Another quality of Krishna is he's unchanging. Another quality mentioned in this verse is that Krishna sanctions other philosophies. Another quality mentioned in this verse is amazing. It's how many things were mentioned in the verse by these intelligent ladies. That Krishna is far away and near as well. Another one is he's the soul of all souls. That means the super soul. Another one is unlimited. Another one is that Krishna, this is actually very important, that Krishna never gets transformed and he never is an illusion. There's another two qualities. Of course, the impersonalists and Mayavadis, whatever, they have the philosophy that Krishna is he transforms himself by the creation of the material world. We don't say that. We say, according to the Upanishad, that Om Purnam Adam, isn't it? That the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and so many complete and perfect emanations come from him, and he remains perfect and complete. So there's no parinama there. Although Krishna's parinama means transformation, although Krishna's energies are continually being transformed. So Krishna's unchanging, and he never falls into illusion, and the living entities fall into illusion. So, anyway, so these are some of the qualities. Oh, yeah, and then I mentioned in the beginning about these two terms, transcendent and immanent. Krishna is both transcendent and immanent. In other words, he has a transcendental world, he's a transcendental personality, and at the same time, he's present everywhere. He controls everything, he creates everything, he is everything. In one sense, Krishna is everything, and in another sense, Krishna is different from everything. So, in order to understand all these points, one needs to understand Lord Chaitanya's philosophy of Achintya, Veda Veda Tattva. That means Krishna is one and different from everything simultaneously, inconceivably. So, we have another 2 or 3 minutes. So, any questions? Yes. Yeah.
So how did the Naga partners who were married to the demon, how did they know about Krishna's supreme personality?
That's actually an interesting question, and I have not found an answer to it in the Acharya's commentaries. Obviously, they had some association, because without the association, without coming in touch with one of Krishna's devotees, one does not get those sorts of realizations. So obviously, somewhere in the past they had that association. Just like we mentioned that Kali in his past life was actually a devotee. So he's being woken up to his actual real nature, although he had committed that offense of not allowing another sage to come into his cave. We mentioned that the other day. It's just like pauper is proud of his penny, so someone who has a cave is actually proud of his cave, particularly his cave. We have a territorial, it's almost like we often use the example of dogs. They go around, they spray things to mark off their territory, and if you walk into their territory, they actually start barking, or close to their territory, they start barking. So he was acting basically like a dog, although he was a devotee before. So somehow or other, they had gotten the association. I don't know exactly how they got the association. And they learned the philosophy quite well. I mean, I think better than most ISKCON devotees know the philosophy. And Queen Kunti also. So here you have these examples of... Queen Kunti was from an extraordinary family. We can almost understand that. But here you have Nagapatnis. Actually, generally, I wouldn't consider it such a high birth to be born as a snake lady, Nagapatni. So Prabhupada said to depict them generally as mermaids. Of course, they could change their forms. The Nagas could definitely change their forms. But Prabhupada, when he was instructing us to the devotee who was carving the deities in Fiji, he said you to depict them as mermaids, with a fish portion in the bottom so they could swim. It's interesting. So, such a low-class family, but by association, somehow or other, they understood the philosophy. It's a fact, when one has good association, just like Srila Rupa Goswami gives the example, like bell metal can be changed to gold by the proper process of alchemy. So by the proper process of devotional service, you can change an ordinary conditioned soul into a great pure devotee of the Lord. And Prabhupada Oh, of course, Prabhupada called that hippies to happies. That was Prabhupada's expression. And Prabhupada was asked about, do you perform miracles? And Prabhupada said, here are my miracles. All these hippies who are now actually Krishna conscious. Anyway, so that's all we have time for today. We are going to try to show the deities to everybody. JG.